Hello and welcome. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I'd like to thank our sponsors at Procyon Partners. Procyon, one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. They specialize in employee benefits, wealth management, and retirement planning. President Sean Rabinowitz, proud supporter of our podcast network and everything we do. Green Street Trust International, owned and operated by Rennell Jump and UConn legendary men's basketball player Jake Voskuhl. They specialize in tax plans for businesses large or small. They will save you money or get you a big fat return on your taxes. To schedule your free strategic tax planning session today, go to www.greenstreettrust.com. Pete Finch and the Finch Law Firm is located in Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you've suffered any type of personal injury, slip and fall, car accident, your mother-in-law ran you over with her car, your wife got angry one night and decided to stab you, the Finch Firm is for you. Pete has won legal battles all across the state of Connecticut. He will go to war to get every dollar you deserve in compensation. You just have to remember, in a pinch, call Finch or go to his website, thefinchfirm.com. Dynamic Human Performance is owned and operated by UConn legendary running back Andre Dixon. He trains boys and girls of all ages, all sports. He has a boot camp program 7 days a week, 6 a.m. You want to get in shape, you go to Andre. He has an athletic development program where he trains boys and girls in the sport of their choice from the ground up, helps them reach their full potential, be the best they can possibly be. Andre has sent boys and girls to college on scholarship for all different types of sports. To work with the best, he has a 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility in Hartford, Connecticut. Go to www.dynamichumanperformance.com. All right, and here we are for another episode of Broker Than You. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. With me, as always, the king of real estate in Erie, Pennsylvania himself, Mr. Laban Marsh. And he did not change his facial hair for this episode.
Nope.
This
Last
is the
week.
I know it was like 4 weeks in a row. The facial hair was changing. We finally have consistency.
A little consistent.
And I know people are going to be wondering if you colored your mustache or not.
No, it's gray, bro.
Oh, there's a little gray in
wisdom
there.
in there.
Okay.
A
All
little
right.
salt in there.
And then we have the entrepreneur extraordinaire, Mr. Nedvonne Young, FreshFold Laundry Company in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. High-end laundry service. Fresh, great to see you.
Great to see you.
Yes.
And late too.
Mm-hmm.
And a very that's old school hat.
That's classic, baby.
A very special guest joining us, Rebecca Wells, who happens to be an accomplished author, right?
Yes.
I got that right.
Yes. Rebecca Wells Phillips.
It's Rebecca Wells Phillips. Okay, I didn't get right all the way right. That was close. But yeah, I was trying to make a pun. I got it right? For an author? That's a pun, isn't it?
Yes.
No? Okay.
It is.
Thank you for joining us, Rebecca, and welcome to the show.
I appreciate you having me.
So, how long have you been an author for? How long have you been writing?
I have been writing since high school, 1987. But
you can lie about your age on here, just so you know. We all do.
Oh, I'm proud of my age.
Okay.
I am proud.
Amen.
I'm 54
Amen.
years old, 54 and looking about 20, I think, maybe.
Yes,
Hey.
you do not look close to 54.
So I started writing in high school in 1987, but I didn't realize I was that good at it, even though I won a couple of contests. But I did not publish my first book until November of 2023.
Wow. So what did you do in between? I'm sure you had some jobs in between. obviously.
I went to college at Carson Newman, and I got a double major in broadcast journalism, communication arts, and English
Oh.
literature. And so my parents sent me there to be an accountant. I'm not the accountant.
Yeah, nobody
Whoops.
likes that.
And so I have worked all over the place in every industry you can imagine, and I just float. I float everywhere, but I finally have settled down in a job with a medical manufacturing facility where I work 12-hour shifts, and on my
Right.
days off I write. So
You
right
do
now
writing.
I've published 4 books so far, and this
Right.
year I'm writing right now 2 more books this year.
Right. Right.
That
And-
is outstanding.
Isn't that crazy?
And
Yeah.
what's awesome is that a little pre-show we were talking, and Fresh brought up we want to get into side hustles. And I'll tell you
There you
what,
go.
I mean, obviously you have a career.
Passion.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I think what you had just said is on my time off, I write. So you're
Yes.
like, but there's something about always being productive, right? And I'm
Yes.
sure you probably have a hard time relaxing, or
I know what that
writing is your outlet, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Well, that's great. So I'm anxious to learn more about you and you know what you do, but that's outstanding. So how long then have you? I mean, you've been writing the whole time. You have a full-time job. When did you realize? Like,
That's what I was going to
did somebody
say.
say,
Yeah.
"Hey, you should publish this"? Did somebody read a manuscript or transcript or something and encourage you to do that?
I'm sure you had a publisher or somebody.
No. My parents were in politics, and we grew up in a predominantly white town in Tennessee. And so my first book is called Hating Self by Boo Black. And that is about my life of being in that situation. And I dealt with racism, discrimination, depression, suicidal ideation.
Wow.
So I wrote the book so that my family would understand me and know who I am
What
and
you
why
went through.
I am.
Wow.
And so because my parents were in politics and still lived in that town, I didn't think it was safe to publish. But my mother died. My mother died about 4.5 years ago. And
Sorry to hear that.
I appreciate that. And at that point I realized that I can do it. I'll just do it. But I made it so that the book does not reference the city. I didn't want people to shame that city. I didn't want to like pinpoint, this is where I grew up, you know. If you research, you can figure it out somewhere else, but the book itself does not name the city.
It's a fictional city.
Well, and I think sadly, there does not need to be a name in the city of how unfortunate it is. And I think with our athletic background, I remember Coach Rapone, like, you just don't see color. These are brothers and sisters. And I just, yeah, that gets really frustrating, especially from somebody like myself who's probably privileged, certainly. And so I just, I empathize and yet cannot ever fathom feeling hatred to that extent to where you feel unsafe. And I'm sorry that you went through that, but at the same time, I'm thankful for how strong clearly you are. And not only your resilience, but your, you know, carrying other people through some of those hardships that give them the confidence that they can not only survive, but thrive, which it sounds and looks like you are doing. So congratulations for that, because that's outstanding. And part of the naming of the show, Broker Than You, I'm a real estate broker, but Steve and I, and probably Fresh, we've suffered some head trauma, concussions and things from football. And so we battle and we talk about, you know, Broker Than You is not only I'm a real estate broker, hopefully not broker than you, but we also realize that there are people out there more broken than me. And so it's easy to wallow in it. And yet I think that's what's been great about the show and Steve hosting it, is that it enables us to really talk about some of these things that especially men don't feel entitled to talk about. And we talked about last week, you know, the Super Bowl's coming up, but for a lot of us, when football ends, we don't know what to do with ourselves. And as UConn alum, we have basketball. But for most former football players, this is a really hard time of year. It's a little depressing because of the weather in the Northeast where I'm at in Pennsylvania. And so I think, again, it's okay to talk about your feelings and the frustrations and the challenges, but then also you have to look to solutions because I found as I read more about concussions and head trauma, it took me more into a depressed state to where I have to stay and follow my focus of what I want to do and finding solutions, because it's very easy to get caught up in that and then start feeling bad for yourself. All the while there's people out there suffering far worse than I do. So that's a little premise of the show and what we do.
Yeah.
So we're thrilled to have you. And like I said, to learn more about you. Steve often gets questions from the audience as we're going here. So any of your insight we would appreciate, and it's great to have you.
Well, and I know Fresh was just talking about this, how, Fresh is in Nedvonne's in Chapel Hill, and there's ICE agents in Chapel Hill, and he was saying how people are afraid to send their kids to school, and it's become such a tense environment there. And I mean, I don't know how he experiences that and lives through that every day, right? Fresh, you said that the ICE agents have been around.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
people are
you have.
terrified.
Yeah, I think, and kind of seems like, her book is about, a part of it is about trauma, right?
Yes.
They talk about how the traumas of kind of like from football, CTE, things that happen, and just the trauma of and she also mentioned, I think she said about her from an identity standpoint.
Yeah.
And I think we maybe be able to relate from a point of view of, we went from, most of us are, were either the best or the top athlete at our high schools, to being a top or best athlete in college, or a good athlete in college, to just being an athlete in college, like just being one of the, a regular, just one of the guys. And then when you leave and, you're an athlete this whole time, from the time you're like, from a youth to adolescence through early adulthood. And then now that just stops.
Everything's done for you.
It's done. And now who are you now? So you deal with the trauma of some of the physical, mental, emotional stuff. And then you also deal with it from a standpoint of identity. Who am I? And then you kind of either have to define yourself, right? Define yourself for who you are, and then and grow and build from that. So I think those things, and that's probably some of the things that you touched on in your book, some similar things, and how that has kind of shaped who you are now, and led you to start to do and have the courage to write and put your story out there.
So, Rebecca, I mean, it must have been difficult with your parents being in politics. And I mean, can you share some, I don't want to pry, but some of the things that you experienced and went through growing up that were somewhat challenging?
All right. So I had an older sister, 7 years older, and she was adorable and loved, beautiful, majorette, and everyone loved her, but she didn't compete. With education. It was her looks, her physical beauty, and all that. So me, on the other hand, my best friend was books, and so I was competitive in education. And so whenever I was in school, the N word was my middle name. I can't tell you how many times I got in fights trying to stand up for myself.
Well, is she's saying that the real N word, that
the
N word?
N-word. Yeah, I would hear that every day. It started in elementary school. And so up until fifth grade, I tried to stand up for myself, and I would get paddled by the principal, and then I'd be sent home, and then my parents would beat me or paddle me or belt
even
me,
knowing
whatever.
that you were called that word, the principal didn't care.
Because I'm supposed to be the bigger person, and my parents reminded me that Jesus, he turned the other cheek. So
he did, right?
Turn the other cheek. So
he also said an eye for an eye.
But I couldn't play sports. I can't hardly dribble a ball and chew gum at the same time. So I was not the normal black person, right? They expected everyone black to play sports. I never could. And so I was not accepted by black people, because I wasn't an athlete, nor did I talk like my other Black counterparts, but I wasn't accepted by the white people because of my skin. So
Right.
I wanted to disappear myself, and
You
I
were
did
ostracized.
try. Yeah, I tried, and unfortunately, I have tried more than once.
Oh
And
God.
I have learned that other people don't tell me they don't tell me who I am. Like that, they don't value me. Like their value means nothing to me. I had to learn that God put me here for a purpose, and that my burden is the burden to share with other people to help other people deal with their burdens. So I try not to focus on the negative, and in Hating Self by
Yeah.
Being Black, it actually is written up as lessons. There's like 13 chapters, and there are lessons like these are the things that you are dealing with, but you need to learn, this is your value. You are better than that. I mean, it's very uplifting. And so I try not to focus on the negatives.
Right.
So
Right.
one of the questions I have for you, because I'm a big believer in like the law of reciprocity and just how you treat people is how you will be treated. I mean, do you follow that philosophy? I mean, because I try to pour into people, like be a hype man. It's kind of like Raving Fans was a great book. And one of the things I learned from that, like you want to make raving fans of your business, of yourself. But the
Right.
easiest way to do that is just become a raving fan of that which you love, whether it's a product, a service, an individual. Like I will forever rave about Coach Joe Sanford, who was instrumental in my life as a coach, as a godly individual. And so there's just certain things, like there was Augie's Pizza, like my favorite food, that I was just a major hype man. But I'm such a firm believer in like what you give out is what you'll get back. And I just can't imagine, because it sounds like you try to give out so much love for acceptance and we're denied at every turn. And so how did you like just persist and know? I mean, it sounds like the Lord is, your beacon, which is awesome. And you were able to just rise above those challenges. How much was it, kind of you continuing to just put out there the good vibes and waiting to surround yourself with the right people?
Yeah, it's been hard. I think that's where a lot of depression and then the suicidal ideation came from for so long, because I was looking to other people to accept me. And so
Yeah.
finally, after the last time I tried, that was June of I think 2024. I think that's correct. I realized that this is not working. Like I can't continue to give and give and give and just be just knocked down. So I've had to pull back a lot. I've had to
Yeah.
evaluate who my friends are. And an example is like on Facebook, I've had to get rid of a bunch of people that were very negative people and toxic, right?
Yeah.
So you can only be that light for so long before the darkness just consumes you. And so that's what I'm doing now, is I'm putting up, I shouldn't say I have to put up walls, but to protect me, I
boundaries. You put up boundaries.
But I'll tell you the other thing, and I talked to my mother recently about this, which our real estate business is named after my mother, Marsh. And I just said, listen, and she knows it, but it's easy to just get yourself wrapped up in it. You need to just lower your expectations of everyone. Because when someone just says, hey, thank you for doing that kind gesture, it's like, oh, you don't know how much I appreciate you recognizing that. So I think, and I think that's what happens, though, right? You start to, whether it's their position or of authority or whatever it is. And I think that's important, that you just stand your ground and know your value and your worth, and surround yourself by it. But that's outstanding.
Fresh, I mean, you're one of the smartest people that I know. Did you ever experience anything similar with, being educated and ostracized because of that at all?
I would say so. My situation is different, right? I grew up in Brooklyn around a bunch of everybody I knew was like, it was like, Black and Latino for the most part, right? But what was different, was interesting, is we had, in my high school, it was two white kids, sisters, twin sisters, in my class, in my graduating class, and everybody just treated them like They were like just one of us. It was like it was complete opposite.
Yeah.
They got none of the whole like not really the name calling. It just was kind of like, we just kind of welcomed them in. So for me, my experience, I didn't experience a lot of that stuff. I would experience but you know how New York is a melting pot. So
it is.
So basically, similar towns to like where she lived at, there are sections of Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, the Bronx, and Staten Island for the most part is probably the majority, like where she probably grew up, how Staten Island is, where you have to be familiar and know. I was fortunate enough that I had family would say, look, kind of this is where we can kind of where you can be.
Yeah, don't go here.
Don't go here. Or be careful when you're going into the city and things like that, or just know where you were. So I was fortunate enough to have people ahead of me that it was different. But yes, I experienced some stuff, but I don't think it was not to that extreme to where what she experienced, but you definitely, everyone has their version of the story. I have a version of the story that's just not like, how like the name of the show is Broker Than You. Like I have, my version of when I experienced, racism, discrimination. But then it's like, when you hear her story, it's like, well, mine wasn't as bad, wasn't that bad. Right. So,
yeah,
but, you definitely experience, you hear the N word more times than you should experience it. You experience certain things, certain discrimination. But I will say a brief story that I always remember, and unfortunately, and this is where that can tie us UConn folk into, is it happened on UConn campus. My first probably 2-3 days on campus, and this is what happened. It was I was with actually with somebody who actually tried out for the team. He was on the team for a little bit. It was not my roommate, but we were like in the same building. We lived in frats. We lived in Northwest, and my friend Josue, he's Cuban, and myself, we went to some party or something. We were over or was hanging out, and we would end up by Shippey, right? You know where Shippey is over there, and then we were coming back over to frat, so the north side of the campus, and we were walking back, and we crossed the street. We crossed the street, but we didn't cross in the crosswalk. It's 2:00 in the morning, right?
Nothing good happens after midnight,
right? And we're walking back, and we're just like, and we're walking back, and we get lit up by a police officer. They stop us, and we're just
campus police.
Nope, wasn't campus police. It was a Mansfield.
Oh,
it was a Mansfield police officer. So campus police, we didn't, that they know, no issue. But it was a Mansfield police officer.
Jeez.
Basically, kind of like we didn't get cuffed or anything. They sat us on had us sit down on the curb.
Detained
like,
you?
This is some bull. And then they just pulled. It's just us two. But there's no other reason. We're on campus. It shouldn't matter where you cross the street.
They detained.
And when I say we didn't cross at the crosswalk was maybe 5 feet away from where we crossed. Wow. We were in the crosswalk vicinity, just not actually in the crosswalk. And gave us tickets.
They ticketed you for jaywalking.
We both got tickets. Yeah, it was jaywalking. Yeah, exactly. It was jaywalking, but they called it it was reckless use of a highway or something like that. Right, and that road, right? The road where like
you should have done like a somersault or something like that.
Yo, so it was. So we got tickets for reckless use of a highway. I had to come back to Connecticut on some break time or whatever, and go to court for that. And then
it wasn't like just paying a ticket.
They threw it out, but the inconvenience of it all. But I had to go to Hartford. I had to go to Hartford. I had to go to court in Hartford. And I'm a kid from Brooklyn. I don't know. Listen, my freshman year, I had to get from Hartford. Luckily, another person that lived in my building happened to be, and this is why I love UConn, because everybody kind of took care of each other. So a white guy, friend of mine, Paul, we've known each other for a couple months. fortunate enough, his dad was like, I think worked in the city, one of the city buildings, picked me up from the bus station or whatever to take me to court and take me back, right? So I was fortunate enough to have to go through all of that. A kid from the inner city that doesn't have much, it just you get a ticket. We knew why we got ticketed, right? Cuban kid, Latino kid, and a black kid. We get a ticket walking back to our dorm on campus from a non-campus security officer, a non-campus police officer, to just racially profile us. And so it's just stuff like that would happen. And then I was always fortunate enough, and again, being like a man of faith and a kid of faith, being a kid of faith, like I got saved young at I would consider young at 15. At 15, I gave my first profession of faith. Matter of fact, no, it was before. It might have been 14. And as a teenager, and then I would just say, God has always had a covering over me. I just always been covered, and I'm thankful for that. I don't brag or boast about it. I just always have been covered. Like I can have other stories of where I got pulled over, but I've had friends who in New York we have this card. It's like a PBA card. You get a card from someone who works. You probably got it there. Somebody who works in the police office or the police.
Yeah.
They give you a card, basically like, hey, you ever get pulled over? Just pull this out. So that was kind of like pull this out and just tell them, hey, and then they'll give, and they still kind of want to give you the rundown. They're like, they wanted to give me a ticket. They want to give it.
They know they can't. Yeah.
Hey, they're like, hey, because they know it's going to get back. Like it's like a fraternity where they go, hey, you harassed my family. He showed you the card, and you still gave him a ticket. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, and then they give you some, we just kind of just giving you a warning, just
they give you an excuse,
just stopping you for nothing. It was nothing wrong with the car, no headlights out, nothing. Just nonsense. So it was just stuff like that. But I would have issues of things like that, but not too much of like blatant in your face, where too many people would just be like, N-word, because where I'm from is way different.
Wow.
Yeah, you get knocked out.
Yeah, it's hands and feet. So it's like hands and feet.
Yeah, we're
everything. That's the one thing you don't do.
Elbows are good. Elbows are sharp.
Real good. So again, they meant to go real deep into the woods, but those have been my experiences, and unfortunately, I haven't. I was covered, and people would encourage, and then especially, and it's tough because she got some stuff from home at home. Because it was like basically because it's like it seemed like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rebecca, it was probably more of you brought attention to
your political family.
It's like it's just attention. Like, okay, I had to get called, so now I'm on the radar, and who knows? It's like now, because if she got into it potentially with somebody, and it's a small town, so whoever that person she got into it with, that person could be the son of the mayor or somebody who is a police chief or a fire chief, or it's like, hey, you got to avoid this because it could come back bigger on us. So for them, that was what they knew on how to say, this is how I kind of stop it from trying to stop it from happening further. Because they couldn't go do anything to the other people. You can only do to who you have access to. And, and that's unfortunately why a part of why, and again, you correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that's probably why it was happening, because it was bringing attention.
I agree. I do.
So something like that.
Rebecca, how would you say your experience was at Carson Newman?
I don't want to say anything unkind about Carson Newman.
Okay.
I will give you a couple of things.
Enough said.
First of all, I had 5 different roommates. One actually hit me, and I'm the one that had to leave campus when she hit me. My very first roommate, my freshman year, we got assigned, and they gave out each other's addresses. So we were pen pals before we got there. And so, I decided I'd bring this and she'd bring that. And so when I got to Carson Newman, she was missing. Like I was like, where's my roommate? Where's my roommate? And they explained to me that she was no longer going to be my roommate because I'm more or less, her parents didn't want her rooming with a black woman or black girl. So that was my
Really?
very first roommate that I lost. I also had a work internship, and I was supposed to work in the bookstore, and I was so totally excited. I was like, "You're so lucky you got in the bookstore." And I went to introduce myself to the older gentleman, and he acted really strange with me, wouldn't even shake my hand or anything. And then I found out that they didn't have a position, so I lost my work scholarship with that.
Oh, so she had work study, lost the work study.
Work
because of
study,
that.
yeah.
Am I on another planet right now? This is
Bro,
just
it
blowing
feels
my mind.
unreal. And the fact that this is a regular occurrence.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just, and she's telling you like similar to me, like these are stuff that happened. So within the first week, she had what, 2 traumatic,
That's horrible.
two
Yeah.
traumatic things that happened that further that she was like, I did the right things.
I'm going to
I got
college. Jesus, yeah.
I'm out of the town. Right? I'm out of the town. Things should be different.
Yes.
And then it wasn't, right? And it wasn't. And she experienced stuff, first couple weeks. Similar to me, I experienced something, again, first week.
And I'm curious because I think my realm is always built in sports. So, but it sounds like both of your experiences are from just the real world, not within an athlete. Because like Fresh, you never sense that in the locker room though, right?
No, I mean,
teammates.
I don't.
And I'm not saying I still don't know the solution. Like Steve, I'm like here baffled because I just don't understand how simple-minded people can be. Although I hear true stories.
I'm sure.
It's just frustrating, but I don't.
I would look at it like this: from a sports standpoint, it can be different, right? There's a duality. So how, like, Labe, you as a DB is different than how you are even as a runner, right? As a sprinter, your mindset was totally different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like on defense, you were like kill, destroy. Like it was bad intentions. It wasn't good.
No.
Right?
Tear someone's head off.
Right? So as a human being, as a just layman, it's just different. And I think one of the things we all do is that we're around each other so much that you forget, like you say you don't see color, right? Understand, and when you say you're privileged, and again, this is no offense to you or anybody, that is a privilege just to not see color. When you say that, right? I know what you mean because I know you.
Yeah.
But Rebecca might have said, I'm gonna just tell you what I thought when you said that. I was like, I can't, that doesn't exist with me. I cannot not see color. Now, what I do is, no matter what the color is, I don't treat anybody different, but I have to see color because I understand we have to know, we got to see color, especially our color, because we know like our color means unfortunately, we have restrictions.
Yes.
We have restrictions. There's things we could do, we can't do. Things are starting to change over time, but unfortunately, you see people in the world that are trying to switch things back. Like, no, we want to kind of bring these things back. And unfortunately, what's so sad is, and some of the things they're trying to bring back, it don't really got nothing to do with color. Oh, it does have to do with color. The color green.
And I think in business, because especially as a real estate broker, I mean, that is something that, we have to take ethics all the time. And this is, the discrimination that goes on in real estate, especially unlicensed people out there selling. It's scary to me, especially as a broker. And I think that's where the only color we care about is green in real estate. That's all you can care about. And I'm not saying I don't see color. I recognize it. And listen, my son, we ran into a kid. I was dropping him off for basketball, a kid that I have not seen since 8th grade. He got in trouble, so he came down to the small school that I grew up in Corey. And so he was one of maybe 2 black kids in the entire thing, but we got along really well. And so I ran into him. This was like 2 years ago. So my son's 15, he was 13. I mean, it's been like 30 years. And I moved out of town about 3 months after I met him, because we moved out of Corey. And I have just been curious about this kid, how he's doing, what he's up to. Couldn't find him anywhere on social media because his name in school was not his given name, or, you know, how you would find him. And I ran into him, and I can't even think of it. Drew is like, Dad, I cannot believe how much you just changed your behavior and dapping him up. But it was like when I'm back at UConn with my teammates. So what do they call that? Code? What is that? You know, you watch when he's around his white buddies, and it's different. So I mean, and again, I think that I look at that more as adaptability, not trying to be somebody different. But it is amazing how in different environments, it brings out some difference in you, not good or bad. It's just, I think part of it is that adaptation. And there's some people that don't want to adapt. And I think that's where we run into trouble. It's like, bro, you're not accepting. And when I thought about Fresh, when I asked
the
about
word accepting,
it's about respect, because in a locker room, bro, I know you can ball. Anybody who's there can ball. So I have respect. And I think that's what is missing ultimately, and the fear of God. I think ultimately it's the fear of God, because if everybody knew ultimately that you're going to have to stand and face the Father and he gets to decide, we live a little differently. So I mean, I have no clue in my experiences. I'm privileged, blessed, however you want to call it. And I don't know how to change it except try to pour out for those who are not. And again, I don't know how else to describe that.
What I would say, and again, what I would say, it's not what anybody listening that's not, you know, African American, Latino, that's not, you know, brown or whatever. The best thing you could do is kind of some along the lines of what you're kind of mentioning, Laban, is just be an advocate and being relatable and understanding. Like, you know what? Understand that this is that we all have our truths. Like your truth is like, you know, you joke a little early. I'm like, I might be privileged. That's your truth, right? A lot of brown people's truth is we know we don't have certain privileges. It doesn't make us look at people any different. We just know that it's a lot more on the line if certain things happen with us. Like if we make a mistake, it could be treated way different. And when you know that, if you can accept that, you know what? I know that that could be the thing. And if you have an opportunity to step in the gap to speak up for someone, that's golden. Just to speaking up, right? Just speaking up sometimes, because a lot of times we are literally alone. Like you mentioned, like when you were at school, you said the Carroll school, you said the guy you linked up with, you hadn't seen him, but it was like 2 or 3 of them, right? So imagine she was in the town. It was only a handful of people of color in our town. So what happens is, but I'm pretty sure she could think about, there was somebody, because this always happens. This is where God's covering comes in. And I don't know, Rebecca, you know, just meet first time, but she's probably going to agree with this. There's always was at least 1 or 2 people, that were a saving grace of some sort, that we would consider an ally, that would speak up, that would sometimes be a literal physical covering, would stand in the gap like, no, and sometimes even take some licks for you, for you not to get hit. And sometimes so if you can do that, whether that's a little physically or just speaking up, and it's just saying, hey, you know, that's not right. Once people know that there are, you know, blue eyes on them too, not just brown eyes.
Angels.
They act different, right? Because, you know, so if you could just be willing to speak up, because once you can understand, you know, unfortunately, it's different. I know it's not right, and it shouldn't be that way, but I accept that it is a thing. And when I get the opportunity, I'm just going to speak up, and that's all you have to do. And that can be, and sometimes it can be as small as giving someone comfort.
Yes.
And it can be as large as you just save somebody's life.
Yes.
You'd be surprised. You can literally save someone's life.
Well, and that's, I think, the power of words, though, too. And I go back to when I was asked recently, it's like people need encouragement. And honestly, I've seen some Instagram reels where there's a guy out holding, he was complimenting cat calling or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I know that's an extreme case, but it's like most people don't know how to just say, man, I like those shoes. That's a great dress. Love the hat. Like, and it's not, well, see, and I've got teenagers, so that's glazing. Like cats are glazing on them. Like I got to be careful with these young kids. But like Drew, he'd be like, dude, like somebody played a great game. We had a kid make 3 out of 3 threes last night. He didn't shoot to the second half. So after the game, I'm like, bro, shoot more. And Drew's like, stop glazing, Dad. I'm like, bro, what? It's a compliment. Like, so what are we teaching these kids? Like, it's okay to glaze and support somebody and be all right. And even if they had a better night than you, Steve's lost here. Bro, you don't have kids yet.
No,
all right.
glazing, no.
Glazing is,
glazed donuts,
pouring it on somebody more than they really need it. And yet that's what the world needs.
It on real thick.
That's what the world, they need it. You are spot on. They do need it.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, glazing.
I agree.
Yes.
All right. We're going to play a quick video from our sponsors, and then we'll get into some questions. Down south, we have Julius Williams and the Trench Mob. They're located in Decatur, Georgia. Julius and his team train offensive and defensive linemen. They compete in 5v5 tournaments and college showcase camps across the country. They are the best of the best when it comes to training and developing linemen. Julius has sent kids to schools like Florida, Florida State, Miami, Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia, and Alabama, just to name a few. If you want your kid to go Division I football, they got to work with the Trench Mob. They have a virtual program as well, and you can come to any tournament you want. To join the Trench Mob, go to their website, www.trenchmobfootball.com. Nedvonne Young owns FreshFold Laundry Company in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. It's a high-end laundry service. You book online, you put your laundry out in a clear plastic bag. They pick it up, wash, dry, fold it for you in lightning speed records, and it can be done in 48 hours. They are now offering a drop-off service as well, so you can have your laundry done without leaving the comfort of your own home. They have an online subscription model as well, weekly or bi-weekly, so everything's done there. You book online, they pick it up, wash, dry, fold it for you, and then you can subscribe weekly or bi-weekly to their service and have it done there. They also have deals for college students. There's many colleges in the Chapel Hill area. You can get a deal, the same thing, and have your laundry all done for you without leaving the comfort of your dorm room. All you have to do is go to their website, myfreshfold-laundry.com. Did I get the website right?
You got it right, Steve.
I had to change it for both of them, for both websites. So that's
amazing,
what I did.
Dude.
All right. So we were talking about some side hustles and basically how we can generate some revenue on the side with some of our spare time. And, Rebecca has talked about that now since she has been publishing some books. So she published the first book. How would you say the side hustle went, and how long did it take to actually come to fruition? Because I know you wrote for a long time, but how long did it take to actually get the first book done?
Did we lose her, Steve?
I think we might have lost her.
I think we might have lost her. We're down to 3.
Yeah, we could.
She'll be back. Right.
Come on back, Rebecca.
All right. Go ahead.
Fresh. I was looking through those notes. Which was that AI created, or is that you, bro?
It's AI.
A little bit.
AI. A little bit of both.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, he's absolutely right. I mean, there's appliance rentals, digital products that you can do, cooking, marketing, and what I think Fresh is amazing with. He can consult with just about anything, and that's where I think he is phenomenal. Like he could be a consultant on any project around. Oh, she's back. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that too, because I definitely kind of jump into doing that. I would say it's definitely good. And but yeah, Rebecca, we were just talking about we started to segue to side hustles.
Yeah.
And we were just talking a little bit about that. And I'll just wrap up the question Steve just asked me, and then we'll hop in with you, I guess. So I would say, talking about the side hustles and kind of what I could see happening, I think, believe it or not, we talk about this kind of all the time. I think initially when I first got into real estate, it was a side hustle. I started out as a side hustle, and it started as a side hustle, became a main hustle, then kind of went back to being a side hustle. So I think I started out doing short sales. I did my first short sale back in like 2007 and 8, and did a short sale and owned my first piece of property outside of where we lived, which was in Baltimore. So that was a way just to kind of like, you could start obviously in real estate, you got wholesalers, you could just even bird dog. People don't realize you could bird dog, which is just kind of basically you're being an assistant to an investor and doing kind of like the grunt work.
Razul does that. Okay.
Yeah, go take some pictures. Hey, I need you to go put these yard signs out. Go pick them up. Go do just a bird dog could do all those things. Hey, if you see certain stuff, send stuff to me. And then those are little things you can start just from a real estate standpoint. But I'm gonna quickly just talk about a side hustle that I think is really cool. That's outside of some of the stuff we talked about before, which is and when you talk about the laundry appliance businesses, someone can start this, right? And I follow this guy named I think it's called the Corning Corner, and all he does, his whole show, his whole podcast, his whole thing is about side hustles. He talks about so many different side hustles, and one of the main things that stood out, and people could do this, like wherever you are, and no matter where you are in the country, people who have a washer and dryer hookup will need a washer and dryer, right? He basically looks up washer and dryers online on say Facebook or Craigslist, and sometimes people are giving them out for free, or people sell them for dirt cheap. And a lot of times, 6 months, a year ago, they were like $700 a pop. So you get them for like $100, $200, $300. And basically, he has certain brands that are like easier to fix, easier to make, or sometimes they're already fixed. And he would basically put an ad out, and you can rent these washer dryer sets for like anywhere from $50 to $80, depending on where you are in the country. And people a month, they will pay back a month. So you basically go bring them in, install them, and and just collect residual monthly income.
And what you want exactly.
You could do so. That's one thing you could do, and from that standpoint, and literally just you could do it with very little startup, because you can look at the ones that are available, reach out, make contact to go get them, and then you can make an ad that I'm renting these, you can have a bunch of different pictures of the 5 or 6 different types that you have, and you can say, hey, I have these sets, and someone be like, oh yeah, I need a set, and then you put it up, and someone says, you get a list of people who already need to rent, and then you can go grab the stuff, literally go grab it. If it's working and functioning, you can grab it from one place.
You're right. People will give it away for free half the time. They just want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So when they're selling homes, this happens a lot. But the other thing that I would roll into that is a lot of these older units have gas dryers, whereas because of different rules and regulations, they've not been producing gas dryers similar to gas ranges and all that. They're trying to go to electric more frequently. And so I know, but there was a regulation a couple years back that they tried to pass that, they weren't going to be producing gas dryers anymore. They wanted you to go electric. So if you have some of that, any of those types of appliances, there's, outdoor equipment. I mean, there is so many things that then depends on your storage and capacity and things like that too. Because for us in like the rental business, and we've been careful, we do not usually include units in our leases, even if the units are available, because as soon as you put it into the lease, then as soon as it goes down, you have to repair and have one there for them. So I caution landlords. I don't mind providing a washer and dryer. I think, and what we have done is we'll bump rent if those are in there. So if landlords should have them. Again, I would recommend not putting it as a part of your lease so that if they break down, you're not on the hook to replace it right away. And we specifically had a case where we were managing a property. The landlord agreed to include washer and dryer. The woman had young children, needed to launder them. The washer went down and he refused to fix it, refused to replace it. And and we told him, it's like, because it's a part of the lease, you're responsible. Yeah. Some of that stuff, it gets down deep into the weeds. So you got to be careful. Again, what you've agreed to. As far as a side hustle, especially if you're handy and can fix those things, because a lot of times I'm amazed when I have a repair guy come over how quickly they finish it. Man, it's like when you know, right?
It's a quick fix. It's like less than a lot of times, especially with dryers. It's this little small piece. It's a thermal
heating element or something.
A thermal. It's like a
thermal
fuse.
coupler.
It's a heating. It's a fuse. These fuses go out. It's a $2 piece.
And people don't know. It really is.
But we're in the throwaway generation.
Yeah,
I think that's part of the issue is that everybody feels like they need to have something new. But I think that clearly that's a great side hustle. And I know there's plenty. I mean, I've said for me, I'm a real estate broker. It's what I do is sell real estate, but I own rentals, which is my side hustle. And I think the hardest part about but it's delaying gratification. It's within my core business model.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not paid to do it. It's my investment. It's, you know what I mean? Things like that. So I think understanding that, and to Fresh's point, and even Rebecca's, like in your free time, like when I was getting started investing, I took my free time and read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and all these books.
You educated.
The Millionaire Next Door. So there are ways on your downtime or when you're not working or earning income where you can be fueling your mind and then talking to people, reach out to people. I mean, there's so many people, Fresh, who will advise you and give you help those who help themselves. We talked about this before. And I'll usually give advice even if I'm not asked, but I definitely prefer to be asked before I provide it. Just because, again, I like to mind my own business. And again, I think I look into like seasonally. We talked about my buddy Nick, who plows with our truck, and he's made a great side hustle out of that while he's still a student. And I don't know what he'll do after high school. But then in the summertime, it's like, dude, there's people that need their lawns mowed. I hire different landscapers. If I had one young guy that had a truck and got stuff done consistently, you're hired. So there are so many things. Again, I speak specifically to real estate, but that's where obviously Rebecca, as an author, it sounds like that was your side hustle. Is there anything else you do?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, about when your first book. How long did it? Because I know you wrote all your life. How long did it take to write and publish that first book?
I wrote the book probably within a year, but I sat on it for 10 years.
Whoa.
Were you afraid of
the ultimate delaying gratification?
She was afraid because of the town and her parents,
so right? That was
I remember she said that.
Okay, so
that may have been a factor.
Well, what was the 10 years, and I know you said your mother had passed away.
Right.
So are you saying you wrote it 10 years prior and just didn't publish it, or you had formulated ideas and then finalized it after 10 years?
I had wrote it and finished it and sat on it for 10 years.
Wow.
And then when my mother passed, it was probably 2 or 3 months that I decided to go ahead and self-publish. And then my next book, I wrote my second book, Loving Self, in I published Hating Self November 2023. I published Loving Self April 2024, and then I published Butterfly Blossoms September 2025. I published Hurricane Helene, Resiliency After the Storm, August 4th, 2025. And then now I'm working on Lift Our Voice, Abuse Survivors Speak Their Truth, and Dragonfly Passion. I hope to have Dragonfly Passion out by March. It's done except for a couple of chapters. And then the Abuse Survivor one, I'm interviewing victims of abuse, of different types of abuse. And so I'm aiming for November 30th. So about 2 a year.
So are you writing them simultaneously? Can you shut one book off and focus on the other? And then is it a mood thing, how you're feeling a certain day as to what you get into?
Yeah.
How do you decide what you're going to write? I'm curious.
What happens is I schedule interviews with people over Zoom, over the phone, whatever. And if they give me a date and we schedule it, after I do that, I listen to the tape and I transcribe. I type like 90 words a minute. So I transcribe just straight through, and then I listen to it.
Are we going to be in the book at all?
Only if you want to be, right? So I will listen to an interview 5 times before I could get it perfected and down on paper, and then I send it to the person I interviewed, which I tell them to give me at least a couple of days because of my work schedule. So that's how I decide whether to work on Lift Our Voice, is based on who I can interview, if I can interview today. Right. Dragonfly Passion is adult LGBTQ fiction, and what happens is I have dreams, and so a lot of my ideas for my books come through the dreams, and so that's usually how I decide what and when to write.
I'm so curious. I studied sleep for a semester at UConn, which is fantastic. And sleep is vitally important, especially, the circadian rhythm and yes. REM sleep, rapid eye movement. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that really is fascinating to me, though.
It's like Inception, the movie. Mess with your dreams. No, it's great that you have more like vivid dreams, I would say, yes. Right?
In color, yes.
So, okay. And amazing. Now I guess, and this is where I started to say this, but I'm just still perplexed. Like I have, and I don't know if it's my head trauma. Like I know I get deep REM sleep, and I actually had a dream the other day that I woke up from, and it felt very real.
Oh, you have no
idea what I dreamt about now. Like yeah. I could not retain that. Like, do you go right to paper after you wake up, or are you able to remember that like ongoing?
I'm a diabetic, so I tend to go to the bathroom at least once or twice a night. So if I wake up with it in my head, I will use my phone, and I actually text myself. I text Becky's cell, my number, and I put it in there like that. And then usually when I go to sleep, I may or may not remember the next morning. It just depends on how deep it is, or how much information I'm given. So
and then I would assume you kind of not fabricate, but elaborate on some of those. I'm just curious how vivid that dream could be to be able to put it to paper. Because as much as, and even if it's a good dream, I still feel like it's lost as soon as I get up and start doing something else. Well, that could be my ADHD.
Whenever I sit down to write, I type everything out on my computer, my laptop. And it's almost like I'm not there. It's like something takes over, and I'll type everything out. And then when I go back to read it for editing, I'm like, who wrote this? And that happens on everything.
So that's called a runner's high. Like and this is why I don't like to run more than 60 meters, but like a lot of my buddies from the track team, they'll go out for runs. And I've done it a few times when I had to run long. Like you get into what's called a runner's high, and you float. Like you don't feel your legs, you don't feel your arm pump. Like you just are like it. I don't know how else to explain it, but the runner's high. Fresh, you know what I'm talking about, Steve?
Yeah.
Maybe not been on too many.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
right. You know what I'm talking about, though, Fresh. That flow.
Yeah, you're just in a like a zone, and you're just going, and you just kind of lose track of time. You're just moving outside of an alarm. Especially back in the day, we didn't have a lot of the technology you have now. I mean, I'm going on runs, and I didn't realize I ran. Oh man, I got back home. It was like 3 hours done passed, and I done ran for a long time. And that's just kind of what happens.
Right.
And what's interesting about what you're saying, Rebecca, I'm wondering. So, a couple things, right? Because we're talking about side hustles. How would you say? How are your books doing?
That's what I was going to ask. Like,
how are your books doing?
How did it start?
Are you getting sales, or is that like that it's good material? You're trying to find a place to get them in front of. Like, what's going on?
Because if you self-publish, it's like on Amazon, right?
Yeah. Like the first 3 books, I didn't do any kind of marketing plan or anything, so I just threw them out there and said good luck, and they did not very well. So
you're getting marketing now, so that's what's going to help you.
This is the 10th podcast that I've been on, but specifically I wanted Hurricane Helene Resiliency After the Storm to do well because I interviewed victims of the storm here in Western North Carolina. I also was giving proceeds to beloved Asheville to support the victims of Hurricane Helene. We're still dealing with Hurricane Helene. And so I did my own marketing plan, my 25-page marketing plan, and I did everything under the sun with.
She's getting a call. That's why it went blank. Fresh, what's
Yeah.
Hurricane Helene?
Dude, that was the
Hurricane
one
Helene
that
happened, I think,
did not clean up at all, right?
About a year or so ago. I think it was
They
last
washed out the
last
value?
year. And it hit Western North Carolina and Tennessee, and it really it raised the waters of the river, and massive destruction.
And there was some question as to I mean, just that all of that. Anytime there's a natural disaster,
and that was some of the issues. You still have people recovering from Helene, and this is why with the whole kind of I don't know if they defunded FEMA or they took certain funding.
I feel like there was something there where like they didn't qualify because it was there was something.
No, they changed the stipulations. Like normally it was like FEMA would handle stuff. I don't know if they cut it entirely, but they cut a huge amount.
A chunk from FEMA.
Or
Doge did.
Yeah, so Doge cut a bunch of stuff, and they
Elon Musk.
So now when you got people that have these disasters, whether it be snow, water, now it's like it's put on. Now normally where FEMA would come in, now it's like the state, wherever that is, you just kind of on your own. So
sorry, it's when you get a call. That's what happens. I apologize. So you were saying I did that he was explaining this to me. So the disaster hit in Western Carolina, and Fresh Tennessee, was saying that they didn't really FEMA really wasn't involved. They didn't really provide much relief. So
no, FEMA. I think they go ahead. You say it because I know I'm thinking, but good.
Okay, so Hurricane Helene affected 7 states. I was going to do the book on 7 states. I could not get enough information. It was too much information. So I focused on Western North Carolina only. FEMA was not here. When the storm came through, it hit Big Bend, Florida, September 24th. It hit us here September 27th as a tropical storm, Helene, but we still call it Hurricane Helene. FEMA, the government, nobody had prepared
Where'd they go?
us.
They just didn't. Nobody showed up.
Well, what it was nobody understood. Everybody thought that we would be protected by the mountains and that we've never had a hurricane in the mountains. So why would we be concerned? And so when it hit, the only people we had were ourselves. So we had country people out here driving around with their chainsaws that had to get trees off the road and everything else. So it took about 3 days for them to get FEMA and them here, but literally you couldn't get anywhere because there were so many down trees. So
and weren't some roads washed out too? I mean, there was some
roads, bridges.
Yeah.
Did you experience it too?
Yeah, I was trying to get to my girlfriend, and it took me 3 hours to not get to her. There was so much flooding. Every road I turned on, it was either flooded or there was a tree down, and all of us were just trying to get somewhere. No electricity, no communications, no internet. And so I didn't know for 3 days whether my girlfriend was dead or alive, and she did the same thing on her side. She was trying to get out to me, and she first tried her truck didn't get under the tree, so then she went back and got her motorcycle. Came out, couldn't use her motorcycle. And so if you didn't have cash, you were out of luck. No ATMs, no banks.
Yeah.
The grocery stores would only allow you to get like $20 worth of stuff or $20 worth of gas. It was like a bomb had gone off. And so I can't blame the government, other than I felt like they should have stationed here beforehand just in case, but this had never happened, not since the 1916 flood. So I did this book so that people will know, and it's got references to bibliography, endnotes, color photographs, interviews with victims of the storm, and a timeline. And so that book, even though it's done very well, I've sold or given away about 300 copies here in North Carolina. It's not getting out regionally because Amazon buries you. There are millions of books and millions of people you're competing against, and I can't get people to know that it exists. And I want to get it in high schools and colleges for courses because it's got all that information. I'm a broadcast journalist, so everything is documented. So anything you can do for people to learn that there is Hurricane Helene Resiliency After the Storm Part 1 out there and available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. There are different bookstores in North Carolina that have it, like Noir Collective, Firestorm Books, Malaprop.
So this is raising awareness for marketing.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I was going to add. You authored it from your personal experience or more research as well? It sounded like you wanted to do research on 7 states affected, but it was so overwhelming.
Exactly. So it's both. It's what I went through, and throughout the book, you'll see what I experienced. But then I had people telling me, hey, this is what happened to me. I lost this family member. My dog died. My house went off the side of the mountain. And I started realizing I needed to tell these stories.
Do you know how much was it due to either a lack of infrastructure or necessary future infrastructure? Because a lot of the times when this stuff comes up, and even the flooding in the Florida areas, we have overpopulated with housing a lot of this impervious soil. And so what happens is there's no place for the water to be absorbed because it's either, the concrete of the cities or just buildings in general, not having proper stormwater management.
That's what happened in New Orleans.
In Pennsylvania, stormwater management is a huge factor and holding back development. And so that's where I can't imagine going through something like that and having to rebuild your home, whether it's the Palisades fires, something like this. But I mean, it so much relies on infrastructure, and so much of the United States infrastructure is ancient. And I don't know how, again, the government appoints or allocates funds to rebuild this stuff, but I don't know how much.
I think they play Jenga.
The Army Corps of Engineers gets involved in things like that. Well, yeah, but I mean, there is part of it is a controlled development as far as understanding how this could happen again, whether it's 100 years from now or 200 years from now. I don't know how much worse storms can get, but having gone through one time, I can't imagine not trying to find solutions, whether it's the infrastructure or how it was handled. I guess I don't need the answer.
No, this is really powerful. So how would you say your books have done starting from your first book? And it seems like it's nonfiction, more biographical stuff, right? That you're writing?
Memoirs, my autobiography. Then there's the adult LGBTQ fiction, and then this is a historical nonfiction, but it also encompasses, the environmental issues, homelessness. In that book, the waterways. There's like so many waterways that envelop our city here, and trees, of course, have been cut down due to apartments and everything else.
Housing.
But the main reason why we had this issue is because it rained for 3 days straight prior to tropical storm hitting us. So we were already oversaturated, and there was absolutely nothing that the government could have done to prepare us for that. I just wanted them to like say to us, you need to get to higher ground or you need to leave. And that's something that they only did
failed.
to people that lived on the waterways. And there were homes that were like 300 feet away from, you know, French Broad, and they got flooded. You know what I'm saying? So it was like,
and I think that's, I mean, I don't know, I don't want to criticize meteorology, but there's a lot of the boy who cried wolf where, oh, we've been told before and it never happened. And so I'm going to stay here. And I think that, not to get too deep into questioning how much you should listen to the government, but it's like, man, it's hard to rely on them.
Well, you don't rely on the government.
To be a resource for your neighbors and all those things would be helpful.
I think so. It's a couple things, guys. I think, especially so, just to touch quickly on meteorology. Something I learned in my adult life, like in the last year or so. My wife had put me onto this. So when it comes to when you hear about when it says like when you hear like it's a like 30% chance of rain.
Oh, dude, we talked about this.
Yeah. So when they talk about 30% chance of rain or something like that, believe it or not, there's 100% chance of rain
in 30% of the area.
Yeah, and 30%, and 30% of the area, right? So it's one of those things where people don't get it. So when you get that, just that little bit of information, knowing that, it's like, oh, well, so it's 70%. Happening. It's just not happening where I am. I'm just fortunate that I'm not in that 30% area that's hidden. So but it's happening. It's happening, you know, and the thing is, you're fortunate when you don't get it. So but if you just have that knowledge, which I don't ever remember being taught that knowledge.
No, I thought the 30% chance meant less than half a chance it's going to rain. Yeah. No, it's 100% chance it's going to rain on 30% of the community.
Yeah, it's going to happen. So just that is one of those things where,
understand.
And then it's another thing that people don't want to accept is that climate change is real. It's a real thing.
Huge. Yeah,
it's a real thing, and people can keep trying to say it's not. But these weather patterns, what's happening, it's not like, oh, this has not happened before. Yeah. And you can't even, because understand, and Label would know this too.
I'm not a climate change denier. I'm just saying, yes, the climate has always been changing, but so incrementally, I would blame it more on the overdevelopment of impervious soil than.
Yeah, but that's one thing, but
it is. There's multiple
that is a
factors.
part of it. But that doesn't account for
like global warming.
Rising,
it's been colder the last 2 years than I ever remember.
The rising of oceans or dropping, or the polar ice caps melting, like all of those things are related to what's happening. So in a grand scheme of things, those things matter and they impact. And when people act like it really doesn't, because it just doesn't impact you, they're acting just like the 70% that's not getting rained on. It's like, no, they say it's like it's 30% chance of rain. It's not really, no, it doesn't happen. No, it's happening. It's just not happening to you. And when you don't acknowledge that it's a real thing, it's very detrimental, because when you're a person of influence, they go, oh, well, this person of influence said it, so it must be true.
It must be true.
So and then
it must be true.
And I was going to state something from before that was very. Hold on, my computer is. Make sure. Okay, so I was going to state something from before that is too many. There's too many people that listen to opportunists over visionaries. So you have opportunists goes, okay, well, how can I take this, say this
issue,
forested over land that is not being utilized, it's just animals there. There's an opportunity there. We have a housing shortage. If we put more houses and we do this, I can make some money. I have an opportunity there to do this. But what people fail to realize is that even like the founders of this country, if you will, and people that are visionaries, they thought about not just the opportunity to do something, but what kind of impact it will have, what would change, and how to factor that in with these things. It wasn't just about the opportunity for them. They were like, okay,
I think
3 or 4 generations behind me,
right?
And that's unfortunately that's not what's happening, and it's impacting other things. Because when someone just wanted to throw these houses up, because you know how fast things get built, these communities, these subdivisions, they get thrown up a lot of times, and things get left out. And you've seen this too, lady. You probably attest this. You've been in some properties where you was like, why would they do that? Like, why is this door off? Why is this opening shorter than that one?
Part of that's generational.
Yeah,
right?
You know what I mean? Like how. But the way they built back then to where they're building now, I think, and part of that was
now, not back then. It's more now, like more. I say now, in the last 15, 20 years.
True.
Right, but I mean, it goes into like the quality of material is not the same as it was 50, 60 years ago. I mean, we got homes in the 1960s that have hardwood floor that were originally put in for underlayment, and everybody reveals them and loves them. So now they don't have, the availability like they once did for hardwood floors. Just going back to cutting down trees that we use to build and everything else. But I go into the infrastructure side of it because I serve on the sewer authority. And anytime we have a major meltdown of snow or heavy rain, we worry about the system and, overflow and things like that. And so we have a pretty natural gravitational undulation in our area. But then, like Pittsburgh, they've got to have pump stations for sewer. And then when I think of flooding like that, that's the first thing I'm like, man, this is bringing in all this sewer septic. It's carrying all this nastiness.
That's what happened in New Orleans.
The infrastructure side is so vitally important. And even in the city of Erie, which is over 130 years old, the infrastructure, clay pipes, whatever it is so, I mean, there's just so many more things that we need to address that is not even on the surface. And I think that's where and when I think it was Obama that said you didn't build that and everybody got all upset. Well, what he meant was the infrastructure, and most of ours for sewer is developer driven, but it's what the role of the government is to take care of streets and, those sorts of things that we rely on to commerce. And so when you see these large natural disasters, it does make you wonder, how are, when we recover, are we making sure that we do think 200 years down the road? And I brought it up in the sewer authority meeting. We had a guy that passed away a couple of years ago at like the age of 95. He was an engineer and always talked about the sewer authority 200 years out. And what always frustrated me about board members is that they come in there and are so selfish, thinking, how is this going to affect them or their children? Instead of thinking about the good of the people.
The generational.
Exactly what I was saying. The opportunist opposed to the visionary. The 95-year-old guy, he was the visionary. He
100%.
had the background and the pedigree, and they need to listen to him more.
And I think that's where, but that visionary has to be willing to serve on a board where I'm not being compensated fair enough for my time. It is a volunteer service for the community, and not a selfish act to try to get something. And I think that's where, even as we talk about side hustle, listen, if you want to start a side hustle, and I remember my wife got so mad when I first read this, like, learn to work for free. Okay, well, I need to make money. Okay, but if you want to learn something from somebody,
you have
willing to work for free, have a mentor. And then what that mentor will do is if they see you working hard and picking up things real quick, I almost guarantee you they will hire you.
Fresh, you're frozen. Try signing out and signing back in. Rebecca, just talk to me a little bit about the success of your books from when you started to now, because I mean, you basically self-published on Amazon, and that's very challenging because you have to try to raise awareness and get the word out yourself. And that's something that we'll be able to definitely help you with, because Laban got 38,000 viewers last week just on YouTube, and we had around 60 total.
36,000 bots?
No. I wish we had bots. It'd be nice.
Yeah, I was trying to say, I wrote a marketing plan for Hurricane Helene because I realized I needed to have a plan for how to promote and market the book. And so people bought Hating Self, but in very small numbers. Amazon takes 40 and 50% of all royalties. So I'm lucky if I get, a $6 or $10 royalty check every month from Amazon.
Oh, wow. What happens? I thought it was a third. They take more than a third.
40%.
40 to 50%. With Hurricane Helene, I bought 300 copies of the book and sold them or gave them away myself. And so I got rid of all of them except for 2. So they're out there and people love the books. And if you go on Amazon, you can see there's 18 5-star reviews. But again, I think I'd be more successful if I could get the word out about it because people still don't know it exists.
So that's what we have to do. Have you looked to try to get a publisher, or is that challenging? I don't know how that works.
Whenever you want a traditional publisher, you have to be willing to take rejection very well. You have to send out manuscripts, which cost money, and you will take months for them to tell you no. And so I don't have the patience. I believe that whenever I have a dream about something and it is on my heart, I'm going to write that daggone book, whether I have a publisher or not. So I like the freedom that I have to publish if and when I want to, and I don't have anyone criticizing.
And you wouldn't have that with a publisher. And with a manuscript, do they tell you what to write and send in? Is that how it works?
What you do is you have an idea and you send in a manuscript. They'll say whether they take fiction, nonfiction, and you send it to them, and then they'll just say yes or no. And if they say yes, and you're lucky, they say yes, they still have the ability to say to you, "We'd like you to change this or take this out."
They want creative liberties.
Yeah, and so I don't want that.
Now, I was curious, did you write the books to release a passion, or did you write the books to create a revenue opportunity, or both?
I wrote the books to change the world and to turn pain into purpose. Money was not even on my mind. However, with Hurricane Helene, I spent over $20,000 of my own credit and cash to make it happen with everything I did in my marketing plan. So I am actually on the line of bankruptcy. So now
we got to make some of your money back for it.
I'm trying, but it's hard.
But the book is still available.
It is still available, and it is a wonderful book. It is amazing. It's the best thing I've written ever.
Okay.
I got a couple quick suggestions for you.
Let me play just our last guy. Finally, we have James Whitfield of Luther James Insurance. For the last 3 years, James has dedicated himself to the art of financial services. He specializes in life insurance and insurance policies. He will save you money, make you a boatload of money, and do so tax-free. He also specializes in retirement planning because we know the stress that goes into thinking about retirement. How much am I going to need? For how long? Do we have enough? Because fear of the unknown is real. To contact James, go to www.lutherjamesinsurance.com. All right, Fresh, go ahead.
Give me a second. What I was saying is, so
because Fresh is the consulting mind, he's the genius.
I wouldn't say all that, but thanks for that.
Come on.
But I would say
I'm glazing
for what you're doing. A couple things you could do. You would look at like writing a book is similar to how people are in the music business, right? It's kind of hard to break into. You can have some great songs, and it could be difficult to kind of get them airplay. And sometimes these songs that came out 10 years ago kind of pop right later. So I would say you might have some, which I'm pretty sure you have some great books and great products, but
great stories.
You have to get them in front of the right people. So believe it or not,
we can do that.
In this day and age that we live in, there are more people sharing similar stories like you online on a daily. You probably can go search on any of the social, whether it be TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. I would probably highly recommend right now TikTok, Instagram, maybe even probably because the short form content is more like readily available, and it's just kind of they spit it out a lot more. I would look for similar stories from people that are more influential, people that might have a higher following, people with a blue check, people with, X amount of followers. And just another thing with this too, hopefully you have a digital version of your book, right? So a digital version of your book.
Right.
And I would just, when you see those people, something similar, I would share, people that have issues with their identity. With their identity. Huge. This would probably, your book, even though it's not 100% related, it would probably go over well with people who are biracial. They have a huge issue. Like a lot of times the identity is like, because you have both, it's like, okay, but unfortunately, because the way you look, the world tells you where you belong. They go, well,
put you in a box.
You're brown skin, you belong here. But you're like, well, I've only grown up around white people. That's all I know. And it's like, but this is what you look like, so this is where you belong. You're like, but I don't fit in.
Nope.
So, and you're a part of what seemed like part of the content in some of your books is like, that's something. So I would take all of the areas of where your book is, right? And people, and I would look for people that align with the stories.
Okay.
And they're saying every single day right now, they're talking about similar stories, and they're like, oh, they're gonna, and you're gonna share with the right person. And I would just try with one of the books, pick the topic, and you go, and I assure you, you just got to be diligent with it. Okay. It might not happen in a few days. It might not happen in a couple months. Yeah. But it will happen if you just keep pushing it, because someone is going to, if your content is what you say it is, someone's going to be touched by it, and they're going to go, you got to read this book.
Yeah. And we got the word out.
And that's just a matter of that happening.
Rebecca, also, what is the top book right now that you need to get out? Is it the one about the natural disaster? That's the one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, originally I thought it was Hating Self, because people deal with depression and all that. Yeah. But with the way these
financially, which you spent too.
Yeah. And as far as the quality and the time and devotion, it is totally Hurricane Helene.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also, do you have a website?
Yes, it's RebeccaWellsPhillips.com.
Yes. Okay. So we can put her website up, and that has probably the links to the Amazon content, how they can get the books.
I'm working on that. I had someone managing my website. They didn't do a very good job, so I've moved.
Oh, you need a website rebuild.
Well, it's there, and WordPress is supposed to be helping me with it. So,
okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
We'll get your website.
I would tell you, here's one of the things you gotta have to do too, right? This is kind of you gotta get your hands dirty, right? And it's a part of, sometimes you don't have the talent in this particular area. But here's what you do. You don't have to be a website developer or anything like that, because it's either you find someone who is talented enough to do certain things, but you at least want to have a good platform, whether that's Shopify or somewhere. When you want to sell your book, your product directly, move away from, because even if you're on your own platform or separate platform, whether it's Etsy or Shopify, which you can still sell your book there. And a lot of times those incorporate with a lot of website platforms.
Right.
A lot of things that could, one that's kind of more pricey is probably going to be like Squarespace, but it's really good. Wix has another, those are like kind of website development. And a lot of times you can really recreate the stuff you have with AI, and it'll do it for you. And a lot of stuff is plug and play, and they have a lot of things to kind of go with it. And the reason I'm telling you is because when you said like nothing happens by mistake, when you just start talking about my original website, and guys remember my old website, the dark one I had.
Yes, which you
that
had.
Was a WordPress site.
Correct.
Now WordPress could be wonderful, could be great, but it's cumbersome. It's a lot. You need to know some of it. If the person that was handling it is not handling it anymore,
that to manage the domain,
you can be in a tight spot.
Yep.
But some of these other platforms like Wix or Squarespace, they tie a lot of stuff in. Because even with Squarespace partner with they actually brought Google domains. Google used to do, you could do domains through Google, and Squarespace owns that part of what Google had. They sold it to them.
Right.
So now that's under Squarespace. So now it integrates very well with like Workspace and all of these other things. So you want to look for functionality.
Yeah.
And just those two platforms help you. But what you're going to have to do is get very familiar with certain things, with just not a certain thing, just like one thing. Like that could just be getting very familiar with Shopify on how to get your book out from you, not get out from under where it's getting buried.
Yeah.
So now when you control it, you can send a link. Now you can share.
Well,
you can set up a Shopify store in a couple hours, and then you can have it there, the digital version of it, and then have an option for someone to get a hard copy as well, or have a hard copy and then the options for digital, and just you could decide how you want to move with the pricing and stuff. But you want to be able to, once you're sharing this book and you put it in front and you get it in front of the right person, because you're going to be sharing it with these people that are discussing and sharing, and people who have these things. And once somebody finds like, hey, this is a tool that I use and it got these steps to do this, or it highlighted, I went through this. I lived in one of the other 7 states. I wasn't in North Carolina, but I was in one of the other states.
Exactly.
You have so much that you could just do, but all you have to do is just do a little bit of research and look for just searching on these platforms. Because all of these social media platforms, believe it or not, they're really search engines. We share content, but they're huge search engines.
You gotta have the algorithm.
You put stuff in there, it will spit out what you need, and it's just more than you can consume of how many people that can relate. And you only need one. And once you get there, I think a door will open for you.
Rebecca, what area are you looking to target most with this book, would you say? The 7 states like Florida and some of the others?
Yeah, like it would be like
or
the
North
South,
Carolina.
because I mean, honestly, it went all the way up to Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina. Atlanta
Georgia?
had some stuff. Florida, Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, perfect.
Florida. I'm not sure that Mississippi or Alabama were affected, but those are the 7 states that really were
that you think that we could target with the book, that it would make an impact. Okay, go ahead, Laban.
Can you guys tell me, Fresh and Steve, you guys would know better.
I don't know anything.
Is it something she should piggyback? Like, so I think, like, I've always wanted to write a book, and then I realized I don't read enough to justify writing a book. So I wanted to do a podcast.
Yes.
What's that?
You can't sit still long enough to write a book.
No, I couldn't. But it's like, could you piggyback a podcast, something to kind of talk about the book? And then, because you had mentioned you ask people questions.
That's basically what I'm telling her.
What's that?
You can do that. That's basically what she would be doing. So these people of influence, they have podcasts, they have,
they can book her
on different platforms. And all she has to do is the right person, someone is going to go.
Trisha Bailey.
I'll read a book.
I just talked to her.
Yeah.
Okay. Trisha Bailey's who Rebecca needs to talk to.
I just talked to her.
Yeah.
So
Trisha
Rebecca,
Bailey,
if you're not familiar with Trisha Bailey, she's a
millionaire philanthropist.
Yeah, she's from Jamaica.
It's a B, not an M. It's a B.
All right. I had her. She came on my podcast. I wore a tie. I was a nervous.
I'm just saying, my when I hear Rebecca's story, it reminds me a lot of Trisha, and Trisha has spun that into one of the most impressive portfolios. And I mean, she's one of the most impressive women that I have ever. Yes. And I knew her when she was just a track star. I didn't know her story, but wow, that's somebody to try to emulate. Trisha Bailey, trust me, from Jamaica, Yukon track star. She's donated. What, 5 million?
She saved the track program.
Yes.
Yeah, creating your own is
that's her email.
Book.
That to me would be your pinnacle of, if you can connect with Trisha, that would be the ultimate.
I'll connect with Trisha. That's a great idea. And we have a big platform in Georgia. Mm-hmm. We can feature it on. we'll definitely be able to put the links up. The links to the books are all on Amazon, correct?
Yeah, Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
Okay. What I mean, does it matter for you which, like, if we use Barnes and Noble or Amazon?
I mean,
Because Amazon takes too much money. So
well, but
you'd
see,
rather
Barnes and Noble. No, Barnes and Noble is the same. It's still 40%. Yeah, I actually published through Ingram Spark, Hurricane Helene through Ingram Spark, which connected to like 60 other. Long story short, all the money's going everywhere else but to me. And I get why I need to sell it myself. But everyone knows Amazon. Everyone trusts Amazon. And that's my biggest platform for books. So I will always say Amazon.
Okay. So we can do that. We can put, but the hurricane book, that's the one, the main focus right now. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll put them all up, but that's the main one to focus on and try to get that sold, because this is a good platform. We have a couple other shows that you'd be great to come on. We have a nonprofit organization show that I think you'd be a good fit for, and we'll do all we can to try to help you and promote you. Have you done any digital marketing at all? Because that's something that's helpful.
You mean like through my social platforms? I have like 12 social platforms.
Well, have you done like YouTube or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel too.
I
have it all.
I
wasn't doing daily.
Oh, good.
I was doing daily lives.
You can put this on there. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
How do they do typically with viewership?
I mean, it's amazing. It's grown my followers and everything else because they really enjoy. I have this thing called Rebecca's Rodeo, and that's how I start every.
Yeah.
Rebecca's Rodeo. Hey, this is your authors, Rebecca Wells Phillips, Rachel Blue, and Boo Black, coming to you live from Western North Carolina. So everybody's gotten used to that. I used to do a little song, like sing a good morning song. So yeah, I've got a lot of following, and I really enjoy the social marketing on the platform.
Oh, good. Okay. So that's good. So then when I post this, I mean, it's on YouTube Live right now, but I can put you as a collaborator.
Yes.
And then you'll be able to post it on your channel as well. But I mean, have you done like any YouTube ads for your books to like talk about the book?
I've done Google ads. I've done Paramount TV ads. I've been on radio interviews. I did Instagram ads.
Okay, so you've done all that, and you haven't had success with it.
I mean, I don't want to say I haven't had success. It's just that monetarily, I'm not seeing it. I do see the growth of followers.
The ROI is not there. Yeah.
It's almost like residual. Like I'm waiting for it to finally happen.
Explode. And it will. It will. We'll definitely, I mean, I can definitely help you out with that. We have so many shows and a pretty big platform. Laban has grown this platform. It's humongous.
If you Google me, I actually have an AI overview. That's how hard I've been working.
Yeah. Yes. That's great. That's great. So Fresh, I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, the best way, obviously trying to help get her on other podcasts. Trisha Bailey, I can definitely reach out to. I was thinking of Nikki Unplugged. Because she's the influencer.
Yeah, Nikki has.
Listen, I just shared one of her ADHD posts this morning, and I had 4 or 5 women that I know locally that are like, I can't believe you know who that is. I love her. I follow her all the time. I mean, she is hilarious.
Yeah, I did.
That's the homie right there, Nikki. Yeah, she's.
Well, we were both 18, so she's my 1/8. Yeah, she played field hockey with Meg and was number 18 when I wore 18 in football.
So I would say, again, I think you're probably one person away from somebody. So in this day and age, you're one influencer away from
you're right there
world to what to your talents and the works you have. But one of the things is the reason why I told you the other things like the Spotify, not Shopify, and some other platforms, because you still will keep it on the Amazons and stuff, but you need these other platforms, because once you get to a point where you have grown and people get familiar with you, you won't need them anymore. Like even on your so for instance, like you're on all the socials. I don't know if you have a stand store. Get a stand store. Like a stand store will have links to what you need, and you'll see more of the profits for the stuff that you're doing. And you can hopefully you're recording all the stuff that you're doing. You can have, the beginnings of what you seem like you were already kind of started doing your own platform, going live.
Yeah, she's got a YouTube channel. That's
you got a
phenomenal.
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You're going live. You need to take advantage of apps and things like Opus Clips to start putting things out.
Oh, yes.
So you need to get you could do all of these things where you put Opus Clips for your current things that you have, and just continue making content. One of the biggest things
like they tell you to make,
just make content, because even though you have people who are professionals, no one ever really knows which one's going to go viral, which one's going to pop. You just keep making.
You never know.
And then the ones that people like is what they like. And again, you're one influencer away. So I would just keep telling you to
stay with it.
Okay. Stay with it, but just have a targeted message. Like you're literally reaching out and have some kind of messaging like, hey, I think I read your story, and and when you're sharing this, you can kind of have AI set this up too. Give a compliment to this person that I watch you, you're awesome at this, and this. I think you or your listeners or your followers would benefit a lot from this book.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can just say this book. You don't even got to say my book. Just say this book. So it's not like, right? And then you're just putting a book out there. And then when people go, oh, this book. And then it comes across like, oh, why didn't you say you were the author of this book? I'm humble. I'm this, which it seems like you are anyway. So it's just kind of like different strategies about how to approach different things.
Okay.
But I would literally just go hard. You pick a certain amount of time where I'm going to get a list of influencers, and you can literally have it. You can create certain things and post, and AI can help you get to. She went again, but I think
she's on just a phone call.
Yeah, but one of those things is, man, if she does that, I think that is probably create her. She needs a.
I apologize for not talking business. We'll do something again. It's my fault.
As long as she creates outside of her, of the norm she has now, and then she also, proactively seeks just literally, if she's sharing, she just looking to help somebody. That information, once it helps, it's going to help the right person. That person's going to be like, this book changed my life. Or listen, like that book you recommended, and then that's it. And then it'll take off.
It's so hard when you do it on Amazon.
Are the best,
I've talked to several people.
It's the long route, but it's the one that sticks, right? That you could paying and stuff like that.
Well, it's just that the people that I've dealt with have not had good experiences with it. That's why it's tough. That's okay. I know you had a call. I know you're. But let me ask you this:
you're a busy woman.
Would you write full time if you could?
Yes. I would.
That's your passion. So if you were able to financially succeed off of this and support yourself more, you would do this full time.
I sure would.
Okay.
Yeah, that's to turn the side hustle to a to the main. Yeah. It's exactly, going from side to main. And I think you just got to keep working it and you'll get there.
Yeah, we'll definitely help with that. And there's another podcast I'll talk to you about, see if we can get you on. And I will put the link to your website, and I will put the link to Amazon to all the books.
Yes.
Talk about it. Now your target, I can target those areas. What would you say your demographic is as far as age group, male or female? Or
nowadays, it seems like the people who have fallen in love with Hurricane Helene have been ages 50 and up.
So it's the older group. Okay.
The elderly people adore it, but they don't have money to throw away. So I've been giving away a lot of books to people in like nursing homes and stuff like that. But the older generation, my generation,
probably 34 to 49 would probably, or I can do 34 to 65. Yeah. That would probably be best, right?
Yeah.
And exactly. male or female doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
And then
Rebecca,
anywhere, Florida, Georgia.
I want to challenge you to do something. So words are very powerful. Like you just said something like, "Oh, certain people don't have money to throw away." Like it's not a throwaway, right? That would be invested in something that you something you have.
Well, so I meant discretionary.
I know what you mean. I'm just this is not. It's not a knock on what you're saying. It's just make sure. Be mindful of the words, right? Because sometimes, and this just happens. Like be mindful of the words you tell yourself, because people don't realize this. The person you're going to believe the most out of anybody in this world is you. Even if you don't realize it subconsciously, if you tell whatever you tell yourself, you're going to believe it.
Yep.
So if you tell yourself something positive, you're going to believe it. You tell yourself something negative, you're going to believe it. And that could be something that could be so like how you mentioned earlier, people focus on being positive along with focusing on it, speak it.
Okay.
Tell yourself you're an award-winning author. You're an amazing author. You're a bestseller.
Accomplished author.
I'm a bestseller. Like tell yourself these things. Like it will.
Morning mantra.
You got to believe it and live it. And then when you tell yourself it, that's moving you closer to it. And tell yourself, people with discretionary income love my book. Mm-hmm. And guess what? It will happen. People will spend money on my book. Like, just don't say, it's tough. I know. Look, people will spend money on what they want to spend money on. Now,
Rebecca, do you have video ads? Because you said you advertised on YouTube and Paramount Plus. I was just curious.
Oh, I've tried.
No, I mean, do you have one like you could send me, like a video ad?
I'll have to look, because when I did it on Paramount TV, it was on them. They wouldn't allow me to do anything with it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And so it's like they own it, right? Like they own it.
Okay.
So
I didn't know if you had one that you did like on YouTube that you saved or anything like that.
No. Mm-mm.
Was it shot like professionally and everything like that?
No, just through video.
Okay. All right.
I mean, so
if you want to do something like that, just do that, a video ad, send it to me.
Okay.
And I will, I'll run it for a little while.
How many seconds? Like 15?
No, you can do 30, 45 right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll work on that.
Go ahead, Fresh. I'm sorry. I cut you off again.
No, I was just saying, like, just keep building yourself up in the process of saying this, even from whatever you're trying to do. Like, I have if you decide to use Shopify, I have an amazing Shopify store.
Okay.
Set goals, write these things down.
How far away are you guys from each other? Because you're Chapel Hill.
She's Asheville.
Asheville, yeah.
I think 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
At least.
Wow. You guys,
because Greensboro's like 3, Lexington's 3.5.
All right, good. You guys can go meet and hang out and talk and get ideas.
Yeah. Well, you said Lexington, but Lexington is near
Lexington, North Carolina.
That's near Charlotte,
right? Yes.
That's not me.
So I mean, I'll check it, but I think because I remember when it was happening out there in Asheville. So my laundry service, I was looking to. I had a friend of mine who's a pastor. Mm-hmm. They were actually coming from Chapel Hill at UNC. I believe it's Methodist Church. Mm-hmm. On UNC Methodist Church, they were supporting people in Asheville to go out there and do things. And I was trying to see if it was a way to support with my laundry company.
Right.
So that was something that we were looking to do. But I don't think it's that. I think it's 3, maybe 4 hours.
Okay.
I can't remember where Asheville is. I'm about to check right now. But you know, I think who lives in Asheville? I think Butch is out there.
Yeah.
Butch
I think
Parley?
you're right.
I believe, yeah, 3. It says 3 hours and 19 minutes. Yeah,
Good.
that's what I said.
Okay. Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on, for sharing your story, for talking about your writing. And you're obviously passionate and very talented to write these books year after year after year. And I will go on Amazon and make sure to get the links. When I do the show notes, I'll put them in there. I'll put it on YouTube as well, so people can click right on them and sell them. And I'll put you as a what's your name for your YouTube channel, so I can put you as a collaborator.
I think it's Rebecca Wells Phillips. It may be just Rebecca Phillips. But
that's fine. That's mine too. So mine's my name. So yeah, we'll do that. So that way you can put this podcast up, and then you'll see the viewership that we get, because Laban is the king of podcasting. But yeah,
in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yes, we've been blowing up.
I have a number of people that might argue that, but
we've been blowing up. I mean, we got 38,000 just on YouTube last week, which is crazy. Wow. Yeah, that's how entertaining we are. But thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca
Wells Phillips. Correct?
Yes, there are other authors by the names of Rebecca Phillips and Rebecca Wells, and that's why I use my entire name.
You should have done one of those pen names, right?
Oh, I'm also Boo Black, and Rachel Blue.
Oh, I like that.
BLEU. So yeah, okay. I've got 3 names technically.
Okay, I like that. But thank you, and yes, we'll definitely help you out and try to help you spread awareness for your work, because it needs to be heard.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you.
FreshFold Nedvonne Young, FreshFold Laundry Company, high-end laundry service, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and I got the website right. First time in 3 weeks. Laban Marsh, king of real estate, Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
I am Steve Cully, best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at life. Rebecca, you can put that in your book. All and right. I'm Steve Cully, and I'm running for Congress.
Stop.